A new at 10, the FBI says an immigration agent thought he was being abducted after an operation in the West Metro. It all began yesterday in the parking lot of an apartment building in Plymouth. Charging documents say immigration officers approached a man who had overstayed his visa. He got in a Jeep and told the woman to start driving. The Homeland Security agent then got in the passenger seat to try to stop them, but wound up trapped inside the car. The FBI says when the agent tried to stop the driver, she threatened to crash the car. At one point, the agent drew his weapon. The woman drove to the New Hope police station just a few miles away. The man ran off, but was later caught. The agent is okay.
The boldness of illegal immigrants in the United States now is through the roof. And it's predominantly, just overwhelmingly, obviously fueled by DNC lunatics and all the nonsense that they put out there concerning ICE being the Gestapo. DHS and Border Patrol, or HSI and Border Patrol being, Nazis and things of that nature. And it's rhetoric like this that has put these federal agents in danger and in harm's way. And it's rhetoric like this that has infected the minds of these folks to think that what they just did was okay. This is the kind of stuff that'll get your life taken. You know what I mean? Because the agent drew his weapon. What if he fired? I mean, he honestly probably would have had every right to do so in the midst of the fact that it appeared that he was being kidnapped. And I mean, the reality is that he was kidnapped. If I'm in a vehicle with you trapped and I'm telling you, pull this car over so I can get out, and you're not letting me out, that's kidnapping. That's precisely what happened here. And they thought that this was okay to do. This woman even threatened to crash her vehicle before she'll even consider letting him out the car, which is pure insanity. I want to go into this article here for a little bit more detail because it gives us the names of these folks, who they are and where they're actually from. One of the individuals, I believe, is a citizen, I saw somewhere, and the other one, obviously, a student visa had expired. Let's check this out right here. Look at this. This is crazy. A man and woman are in federal custody after they allegedly trapped a federal agent in a car on Wednesday afternoon and dropped him off at the New Hope Police Department. I cannot read that extremely long name to save my life. Oluwadamilola Bamigboye. I don't know, man. We're just going to call him Bam. His last name begins with BAM. It's just Bam. Okay. Bam, 24 years old, and Rekeya Frazier, 23. Each face one count of assaulting a Department of Homeland Security Investigations agent in connection with the incident. According to an FBI affidavit, HSI agents were surveilling an apartment parking lot in Plymouth in search of Bam, a Nigerian national who had allegedly overstayed a student visa. Okay, so this guy's from Nigeria. The three agents, two in plain clothes and another wearing a vest that said police and HSI, approached Bam, where they saw him out of the Jeep SUV driven by Frazier. The affidavit claims the agents displayed their badges and identified themselves as law enforcement. Bam, who had moved to the back seat of the Jeep, asked what kind of law enforcement they were. And when they answered, they wanted to talk about his immigration status. He allegedly told Frazier to get back in the car and drive. One agent got into the front passenger seat in an attempt to stop Frazier from driving off, and the other got into the back seat to pull Bam out of the Jeep. The filing states Bam pushed one agent out of the back seat, and Frazier put the car in drive. The vehicle's motion caused the passenger side door to close, trapping the second agent inside. The agent told Frazier to stop the car, warning she was making a very bad decision and making the situation worse. The agent allegedly fought to shift the Jeep into park while it was still moving. That's very dangerous, but you got to do what you got to do if you're being kidnapped. And Frazier told the agent she might crash the car if he did not stop, and said they were taking him to the police department. According to the complaint, the agent, who is on temporary detail for an operation, was unfamiliar with the Twin Cities and feared he was being abducted because he had no idea where they were going. This could have ended so bad for those two. This could have ended horribly for those two. Now it's going to end in deportation for one, right? Because like I said, I believe the other one is an American citizen. I believe it's possibly I think the female is the American citizen, if I'm not mistaken. You know, but this could have ended so bad. But because these DNC lunatics, they hype these folks up. They say they call them masked men, right? Karen Bass, the mayor out here in LA where I live, she often talks about their attire, and she always says that the HSI agents, the Border Patrol agents, ICE agents, their vest looks like something that they bought off of Amazon. She would say that repeatedly. It looked like it was something they bought off Amazon. It looked like something that they bought off of eBay repeatedly to put into the minds of people that you really can't trust whether or not this is federal law enforcement. So this is a deliberate seed that you've seen that has been sown into the minds of illegal immigrants to be completely distrustful of law enforcement. And the moment you see them, question whether or not they are actually law enforcement. And even when they show you their badge, you see their vest, you see their attire, they're out maybe 4 or 5 Jeeps deep. Even then, still don't believe it and make a run for it because you never really know. It's DNC lunatics like Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker in Illinois, Brandon Johnson, the horrible Brandon Johnson, the worst mayor in American history, Brandon Johnson. People like them are who are putting all of us in danger. Because once again, not only could this have ended horribly for those two idiots that kidnapped the federal agent, but in a situation like that, things could have easily went awry and they would have just crashed into a pedestrian, right? Somebody who's driving home from school, driving home from work, they're driving their kids home from a soccer game or some sort of practice, bam, you crash into them and God forbid they lose their life. You run somebody over while they're crossing the street because you're driving like a maniac. You get what I'm saying? Because you let DNC lunatics fill your head up full of nonsense. This is out of control. I digress. The article continues to read as such. In the back seat, Bam called 911 and the agent yelled to tell the dispatcher who he was. In a statement, the Plymouth Police Department said Bam told the dispatch they were taking the agent to Plymouth Police Station, but they ended up going to North Hope instead. So they took him to a whole nother police station. Crazy. While the car was still moving, the agent pulled out his gun and told Frazier to stop, but she kept driving. HSI agents in a Ford Explorer had followed the Jeep from the apartments in Plymouth, at one point inadvertently hitting it from behind in the snow. Oh my God, they were doing this chase in the snow too. I forgot this is Minnesota in the middle of the winter. Wow, this was extremely dangerous. Once at the New Hope Police Department, HSI agents parked in front of the Jeep to pin it in. But Bam hopped out and ran into a nearby Hy-Vee, which is a grocery store, I guess, out there, where he was eventually arrested, the affidavit states. Police eventually arrested Frazier after she initially refused to leave her car. Bam agreed to speak with law enforcement about what happened. He denied that any agents had presented their badges or credentials and admitted to trying to push the agent out of the car and telling Frazier to drive away. And it's right there where you pretty much just told on yourself, guilty as charged, buddy. And I mean, it's not like you weren't going to get deported anyway, but now you have these charges on you that you're going to have to deal with too. So most likely you're going to do time and then you'll get deported, all because, you listen to DNC nonsense, right? To round it out, in his statement, Bam said his response to the situation was because he has PTSD from having been previously kidnapped in his home country. I mean, looks like you're going back now, buddy. Both Bam and Frazier are in custody at the Sherburne County Jail. Once again, I'm going to always and forever place the blame at the feet of DNC lunatics. Because like I said earlier, they're the ones that are leading these people to not trust in law enforcement. You never heard of anything like this up until this moment of time, with these DNC lunatics sowing seeds of deception and lies into the minds of people, making you think that anytime law enforcement approaches you, particularly federal law enforcement, don't trust them because they could have got their vest from Amazon. It's ridiculous.